Hi, welcome to the 9th Masterclass with the MET Orchestra Musicians at Lessonface, featuring double bassists Rex Serrani, Lee Mesh, Brendan Kane, and Kingsley Wood. I'm Claire Cunningham, founder and CEO of Lessonface, where we connect students with great teachers for live lessons and classes online. In this masterclass today, we will have 4 student performance and coaching sessions, followed by a brief Q&A at the end. So please enter questions in the chat box if you have them, and we will address them after the performances. So we begin. Now, Nigel Smith, a student at the Franz Liszt Academy in Budapest, will play the second movement of Sonata No. 2 by Adolf Micek.
Very nice.
Excellent.
Hi, Nigel.
Hi.
I'm Rex. Why don't maybe we could all introduce ourselves.
Yeah,
Lee,
sure.
how you doing? Bravo.
Hi, Nige. Brendan.
Kingsley, excellent job, Nigel.
I had a couple notes I wanted to maybe recommend, and maybe just starting with something, well, both musical and technical. Although can you hear me all right, Nigel, by the way?
Yeah, very clear. Thank you.
Cool. I feel like it might be a little, although the legato technique is excellent, I think that it might be a little heavy on the portamenti. Just an artistic choice for myself. I like to be a little bit more sparing with it, and save it for, some moments that I deem maybe a little bit more special. For instance, at the end of the first section, the do, si, fa, do, si, fa, then fa, do, si, then I kind of put it. We want to just try right there? I play it across the string the first two times, and then the third time I go up and, schmaltz it.
Sorry.
Good. I start from the first position, so da da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da da da. Good. Maybe it's incredibly difficult to, I guess, come up with objectively valid comments through an interface like the one we're through right now, because Zoom sometimes compresses. But I just wanted to do a quick rhythmic check. In the second section, do you have rehearsal 25? It's the yes. La, si, re, fa, mi, re, do. Then you have this da, di, da, di, da, da, di, da, di, da, da, yam, ba. I think it's important in 25 to really, especially the third measure of 25, to keep playing strictly in triplet beats. So the duples and quadruples after, da da na ni ni na 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 yam ban da na 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 na. Can you try it again from maybe 25 and through that part? Good. So do you hear how like it kind of wants to go da dee da dee da da ba na na ni ni na 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 ni, and that also helps make the F and the F sharp accent. At least the edition I'm looking at has accents ya da da dee da da dee. It helps it, feel like it's more, even though you're just changing a rhythm right before. So you want to try it again? All right. Maybe one other comment just from myself. I'll ask, can you play the beginning of the B section again? The si, do, mi, so. So I might, I have a very heavy Hal Robinson influence for this piece, and I love the way he did it, particularly in this spot, just because it offers a little bit of, you see me all right? Offers a little bit of variety. This movement starts very, very connected and deeply cantabile. I think it would be an excellent artistic choice to maybe release a little bit more in this next section. It can be a little bit more on a whim, maybe. It lightens it. I notice you don't use harmonic. I don't know. I don't think you're missing that much if you don't press it and vibrate it. Do you like the harmonic sound?
I do. I think it was just a suggestion from a teacher to kind of make, but no, absolutely, yeah. I think that's it.
I don't want to interrupt the kind of method of that teacher, but this is what I'm used to, and I think it lightens it nicely. Can you just try it, just to humor it? I like that. It gives you a little bit more room to grow, or especially the second one. Also, there's certainly, I very much admire it's a very single string, single voice. Maybe, it might be nice to hear the string crossings rather than the shifts in that part. But anyway, I think you have a lovely sense for the piece, and it's very cool to hear somebody in Budapest right now. You guys have anything to add, or?
I can just say one quick thing, Nigel. It sounds beautiful, and I know that most of this movement is all kind of mid and upper register of the bass. But one thing for me, really be mindful when you go into the lower register that the vibrato has to reflect that. And so if when you get, I know there's not very many, but when you do get those low notes, maybe a little bit wider, slower vibrato, because it kind of sounded like the same vibrato that you were using in the upper register. Just something to think about.
Yeah.
Sounds beautiful.
Thank you.
Nigel, I have a question. It's the arpeggiated chords, the last two bars. But yes, bravo, beautiful, great intonation, beautiful sound. You didn't quite arpeggiate those, and I'm just curious. You know, Rex, you obviously know this piece better, but are they? I mean, I heard like a double stop B flat D and then a top upper B flat. Would you just roll it with your thumb, like arpeggiate it?
Me?
Well, Nigel.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. So I think that my idea was to try and roll it with the thumb, but
Yeah.
I think I sort of grabbed the two strings when I did it, and it didn't.
Can you just do that? The last two chords? Yeah. Okay. Oh, so you kind of double stopped it before. You didn't intend that.
Yeah, I think I grabbed the
Okay,
string accidentally.
that's great.
Sorry.
Yeah, the arpeggio. That sounds great. Yeah. Beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic job, Nigel. I was just going to, I just would reemphasize what Rex was saying about your approach to legato, which is fantastic because oftentimes that's a difficult thing for people to get. I would never want to see you lose that approach, especially in the first section of the piece. But do definitely choose your spots with like real portamenti. But the and then that way with the second section of the piece, you know, when it's in 12/8, you know, I think you can lighten up on the whole legato approach a little bit, and it'll just be maybe just more contrast between the two big sections, and just so that when it says animato, it's not just faster, it's a total change in character there. But really, really fantastic playing.
Oh, thank you very much.
Maybe one really, really quick last comment. I just remembered. Rehearsal 24. I think I guess we're kind of a notorious section for playing things quite short. And bravo for, I guess, at rehearsal 24, you know, staccato definitely means separated, but there's certainly a spectrum to what these notes can mean. But I would actually recommend maybe a little bit more lift. You played a little bit like a, but that way you can lengthen as you get into the crescendo. And that is just as reinforcing as just playing louder as well. So maybe at 24, the dots, I would lift them a little bit and probably try to have them somewhere around here because I notice you're in the middle of the bow. You want to try that just real quick?
Slightly closer to the heel for the.
Yeah, a little bit, just so it's easier to control. At least I feel like it's easier to control. Good, and just give as much crescendo as you can. Back. Right. That's what I do. But bravo, man. Thanks for playing.
Thanks very much for that. That's great. Thank you.
Great job, Nigel.
Bravo.
Wonderful, thank you, Nigel. And now Shichi Lo, a student at the Taipei National University of the Arts, will play orchestral excerpts by Mozart, Brahms, and Strauss.
All right, bravo.
Fantastic. I wonder just a quick technical question. Is it worth maybe trying to adjust your sound settings on Zoom? Rex, what do you think? I felt like when he repeats notes, the dynamic got killed somehow. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe it's not worth the time.
Yeah, frankly, I've had a couple. Shichi, where are you right now? Are you in the United States? Oh, you're in Taipei.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I've had a couple students in mainland, and I've had similar connection issues where this can be as good as it gets. But maybe, okay, we can just do a little audio diagnostic real quick. Can you open your advanced audio settings really quick?
Okay.
And then once you get to advanced settings, can you make sure there should be an automatically adjust microphone volume? Make sure that's disabled. There should also be a suppress background noise. Zoom recommends selecting low level for that because often bass sounds like background noise to Zoom. I'm just going to grab my music really quick.
Why don't we jump in, because we're kind of losing time.
Yeah.
Does somebody want to? Why doesn't somebody just take one of these? You know, for efficiency.
I could talk about the Mozart really quick, and then maybe we could all just grab one. Yeah, it sounds great. Could you just maybe start that excerpt again one more time, and just be really conscious of, like, when you're playing the melody, you want that to be as beautiful as possible always. So all the short notes, always vibrate all of those if you can. And just can you just try the tune one more time?
Let's all mute while he plays, by the way. That'll probably help.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good right there. That's great. All the technical stuff sounds. It's kind of hard to tell with the connection, but the technical stuff all sounds pretty fine. But then when you get into the melody, it sounds. It doesn't sound as melodic to me as I would like it to, if that makes sense to you. So
Yeah.
could you maybe just think about? I know it's a really simple tune, but it's really easy to just kind of play through it and to be, because you're worried about probably what you just played and then what you're going to play after that, which are both obviously technically quite a bit more difficult, right? So I think it's important to not overlook as much, put as much music as you can into that tune. Do you want to just start that just re la 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 fa right from there? And really vibrate every note and really think about where the phrase is going always.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sorry, it might be the connection, but to me it sounds very much like bum 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 bottom, and it's a slur. So it kind of looks like you're playing. Are you barring those two notes with your finger?
Yeah, I'm barring.
Okay, maybe it's the connection. It could very well be, but just make sure that's as smooth and as legato as possible, of course.
Okay.
Dum bum bottom. Okay. Yeah. Just always be thinking about that tune and where you're going.
Yeah.
King, do you have something you want to say?
I just wonder, maybe try not barring it and barring it, sorry, and really vibrate the D, so the bass, because I feel like there's no vibrato on that D. I would say, you want to have that going there. Just try it right from that note, but really vibrate it.
Yeah, that sounds great.
For me, that works better. It gives more just a better tone in the melody there.
Hey, sorry, can I jump in? A quick comment. Bravo. Just be careful of bow accents, because this is piano. We want a lot of energy, but I feel like I'm really getting a click on the down bows. Da 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 da. Try and smooth it out. It really is piano. Can you see if you could a little more lighter? Yeah. I still hear accents. I'd be careful about that on the down bows. It's piano. Yeah.
Quick question for you guys. Kingsley, Brendan, Lee, who does down, up, down, then up, down?
No, that's a bad bowing. I don't do that. I'm kidding. Sure.
I usually do.
Say that again.
Starting the second.
So just starting up bow on the second entrance.
Right, something like that.
No, up, down.
Yeah. Can't remember. I've been in quarantine. I've been in quarantine for like 14 years at this point.
I mean, I don't, but great. If it works, try it. Have them try it.
Go ahead, so down, up, down,
Okay.
just for giggles.
Giggle it.
Nice. Boy, we're really stuck on this one. Could I suggest one thing? When you get to the
It's an important excerpt.
Can you start with the tune and actually start with the full bar and just vibrate the bar?
Let me try.
And then vibrate the F sharp at the end. But not longer. Just one shake of vibrato to warm up the sound. Yeah, good.
And maybe just before we leave this, sorry about that. Before we leave this excerpt, just when a few bars later, when the technical stuff starts, so there's the long phrase, and then there's the short phrase, but those downbeats aren't equal. So I mean, for me, if I was going to play it, when you start on the G, I'd maybe taper that off a little bit and not hit that down bow A so hard, just so there's a little nicer shape in that passage. That would be my only other sort of musical approach.
Yeah, kind of in that vein. One more thing with the tune is, I just think I always kind of hear that melody going to those A's, right? Not the F sharp. So beat dum bum beat dum beat da 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 dee dum. And just make sure that you don't slam the F sharps, because I don't think you want it to go beat up beat dum beat da 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 dee dum. Again, it could be the connection.
Should we move on to what was next? Brahms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you actually, could you just start the Brahms one more time for us, and just when you start again, just I know there's a rest, but that rest is under a slur, so that da 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 da. I mean, it needs to be so smooth there. There needs to be that little gap, but as smooth as you can between those two notes, so that you sort of keep that phrase going rather than separate note and then the eighth notes. Good. So just going back to that very beginning, if you don't mind if I harp on this a little bit, just so what I'm hearing from you is sort of, it's re da 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 da, and there's a big space between the half note and the start of the eighth notes. To me, maybe there should be a little bit more life in that first note. Dum, ba, da, 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 da. So it's really just the smallest of breaths between the half note and the beginning of those eighth notes. I mean, it's only an eighth rest, and you can almost a bow change is enough for me, but maybe a little bit more than just a bow change, but to keep that smoother. All legato.
King, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you stop the bow?
I actually like to. I like to do the first two bars all up bow. So up, and then a down bow. I just find that way you don't have to actually, you don't need to change the bow direction as much, and you can just lighten the bow for that gap. I mean, if you want to try that, that's the bowing I like, but.
Okay, but do you stop the up, or is it is it all one?
I mean, to me,
motion with like a little divot in it?
Yeah, it's all, to me, it's all one motion with just a slight lightening in it, you know, so that you get that breath, but not dum space da 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 dum. That to me doesn't feel right.
I
So
think
Suchi,
you can kind of achieve that if you continue to vibrate through that space,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, hold, you know, just keep you know, you're gonna vibrate that D, keep vibrating, you know, even through the rest, and then you're off on the C sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better.
Good. King, is that the bowing you recommended to do?
No, I like this bowing. Maybe it's just easier to. I like it all up. So then you just. So if you just start at the tip, it gives you plenty of room to. It's something to try. I mean, you don't need to do it right now, but I would, you know, consider it.
Yeah.
Hey, can I jump in with something? 4 bars before the forte starts, at the end of that section, and I can't tell if it's Zoom, but I wouldn't mind if you just tried, if we have a minute, to just try this. It sounds awfully loud over Zoom, if you could really reduce your dynamic, but the 4 bars before, be careful. I felt you really kind of accented the G sharp and the D sharp in where really I would like that to diminuendo away. The whole thing is just winding down, and it's pianissimo to begin with. Could you just start at L?
Okay.
And much, much softer. I hear an accent on the G sharp and D sharp. I would love for it diminuendo and not. You know, if anything, the beginning of that, what looks like a decrescendo, I interpret it as weight on the B natural and weight on the F sharp, but really with the diminuendo. Want to just try those bars?
Okay.
From dum body dum body da dum. Okay, great.
Just make sure that G is the softest note of those last 3 notes. Bum, bum, bum. Always coming away, that big diminuendo.
Yeah.
Good.
I guess we probably should go to Heldenleben, right?
Yeah. Oh, keep doing that. Do you want to just play the Helmleben again, and then we'll jump in?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Excellent. To me, this figure, starting from 51, bum, ba, ya, bum, it's legato, right? There's a slur over the second part of the bar, but it sounds like you are separating it. And I like your bowing down, dum, bum. I would love to hear that legato, that second half of the bar. I'm wondering how you finger that Could you just do that? Show me how you finger that. Yeah. So what I do, everyone does something different. I go 1, I shift to 2C and bar the F just right across, and then I shift up for the A. I know it's a lot of shifts, but I like to keep those 2 notes in position, the C and the F in the first bar. 1, 2. Yeah, lower in first position, just down, but right there, just a half step shift, and then shift up. See if that works. I mean, it's good. Is it Zoom? I still feel like it's da da ba ba, da da bum bum bum, which is what I'd love to hear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone else, guys.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just cleared my throat. Go ahead.
I just want to say I love your character and your energy with this. I think that's right on. As much, I mean, as much energy, loud, huge accents. I mean, I can't really think of an excerpt that requires more energy than the battle scene from Heldenleben. So I just want to say keep doing that. That's very good.
Hey, sorry, one more comment. The second bar after 61, there's actually a written forte. Do you have that in your part?
Yeah, there's a forte and a crescendo.
Right. So if you can drop down for that second bar and then really
Oh.
gauge the crescendo, so that 2 before 62, you're starting a less, and then you can make a really big crescendo into 62. I think that might be more effective.
Okay, so you mean I should drop the dynamic in the 2 bars before 62, right?
Well, actually, the forte I see in my part is printed on the second bar after 61. On the second beat, there's a forte.
Yeah.
That's where you drop it.
Okay, I see.
Forte is the soft dynamic in this scene, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah, so I'm sorry. I mean, for me, the fortissimo on the G flat is the biggest note, and I would like that to be the biggest arrival note. But yeah, so I would drop down less and crescendo later, but go to that G flat.
Okay.
Yeah, good. Play it, Rex.
I might recommend one quick thing right before 63. Are you doing this fingering? I would keep all of these in like the same position in groups of 2. Because the string crossings, I mean, it's going by really fast. It helps to have both notes in the same hand position.
Yeah.
So especially the D flat into the E flat. And yeah, I really like what Lee said about that. The forte and the crescendo is the only thing I really have to say. Maybe even mezzo. Because that's going to be a really big arrival, right?
Yeah.
Hey, just to add to that, you noticed how Rex fingered that da yum ba da dum. He does that on the G string, and that allows you to get a nice portamento up to the G flat. Whereas I saw you fingered it across strings. I prefer that fingering. You want to try that? Would you? Okay. So he actually, the slur is up bow, ba yum, and if you could do that on an up bow without changing the bow, I think it would be more effective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. So then, how would you start that when you start the whole excerpt? So for this is the only what figure. Then I would start down, up, down, up, ba da dum. Then it'll work out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Great.
Aren't there accents going down? Bum 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 bum. Yeah, I could use a lot more accents on those. I'm not really hearing any of those.
Yeah.
And I think we should probably wrap up. Sorry, Claire.
Great
Yeah,
job.
I hate to interrupt. That was wonderful. Thank you.
Bravo.
And now Gerda Kochish, a student at the Royal Birmingham Conservatoire, will play the first movement of Concerto No. 1 by Giovanni Bottesini.
Bravo.
Excellent job.
Very nice.
Yeah.
My music back in order. Anybody want to jump in?
I had maybe a thought or two. I think first of all, bravo for playing a piece that we rarely hear as bass players. I don't know. I feel like everybody hones in on the second concerto, and then the first one gets no attention. So, sorry, I'm just gonna put this on full screen. Oops, I don't want that. My first idea was maybe that what is it? Measure 74, 5, 6, 7, 77. Da dee da diddy ba ba. I feel like it's such a theatrical thing to distinguish the triplet rhythms versus the duple. And I mean, yeah, I guess we all work in an opera house. I guess that's maybe something I'm used to hearing a little bit more of. Can you play from 77 again? Or what's that entrance? 4, 5, 6, 76. Da da dee da dee dum ba ba da 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 da. And maybe in the part that I'm reading, I actually have a staccato written on that 16th note too. Good, but and then the following measure, da bia da da da. No, it sounds like da dia da da. To make sure that the G is actually a grace note will also help. Da and two and bia da da da. Yeah, I would definitely steal from the E if you're trying to figure out the timing. Da and two and bia da da da, because still the triplet should be unaffected. But that's better. That's more my cup of tea. 99. I had a quick comment. What if all right, maybe a little dialogue quick. The beginning of this piece, ya dee da, 100 maybe could be some other personality or theatrical element. Ya da dee da da dee. Maybe it can be a little bit more gentle and cantabile. I was wondering if it would be better to support that idea by going ya da da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 da, to actually go down with that line, and then you prepare the piano just a little bit better. So can you start actually at 98, maybe give me a little bit of diminuendo, and then tell me what you think about it. Now that's not written, but are you into it?
Yes, I like it.
Okay.
Hey, I'm into it. Since we're easy, King. Hey, since we're right there, actually, I had a note about the G harmonic in bar 104. I mean, look, I love harmonics all over the place. That one seemed to me that was not a place for it. Maybe it should be vibrated. No. You don't have to play it. Hey, I have a question though. Where are you from?
From Hungary.
Yeah, where exactly? Because I asked because my wife's roommate, who is from the border, Unter Pullendorf in Austria, very close, has the same last name as you.
Oh, from
Maybe you're related.
I don't know. My family name is pretty common.
It's common.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, just an aside. But since I'm talking, can I just say one other thing? Great. I love your old extension. I used to have that, the old English ones. They're so comfortable. I loved your playing. You have great facility. The one thing that I did notice in your bow travels a lot between, bridge and fingerboard, right? That if you could just be aware of that. I mean, I truly believe that as parallel the bow can stay to the bridge, and also on the changes down bow, with the stick, if that angle changes by doing this, I sometimes heard that. You might want to just experiment with that.
Could I just jump in? Sorry, Lee. I feel like just to complement what Lee's saying, I feel like one other dimension. I totally agree with what Lee's saying about the bow parallel and to keep your sound consistent all the time. But one thing that I noticed was so much of this piece is going from all these firework pyrotechnical displays of these fast arpeggios going up into high harmonic, going from low to high really quick is what I'm trying to say. And I felt like about 70% of the time it worked for you, and I know that you know what I'm about to say, but I think it bears repeating. Just always be very mindful of tracking the bow with your left hand. So I'm not disagreeing with what Lee's saying. I'm totally agreeing, but there is a slight variance in if you're playing in the half position and if you're playing harmonics, obviously. And also, if you're playing in harmonics, almost always more bow is going to help you, get them, because you really want all those harmonics to really like zing out like bells. And if they don't, you kind of lose the effect. So it was great, like most of the time. But then there were some of the times when, and don't get me wrong, I know how it goes by so fast and it's extremely difficult. But if you practice all of those passages really slowly and you're extremely mindful of where the bow is for everything, it'll work better. But it was beautiful. I mean, it's very good. Sorry, Lee, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No problem. Hey, could I just request you play maybe one thing that's going back to the grace notes thing that Rex mentioned? Would you play just the pickup to bar 123, that passage, like bar 122, the end of it? Continue. I'm sorry. I'm blind. I got the wrong number. It's the pickup to 125. Forgive me. Right. Sorry. So that actually, but the end Ba-da-da-den, da-dim is separated, no? On bar 125, the last 16th? It sounded legato over here. Could you separate that more?
Yes.
Great, great. Wonderful. Are you playing the grace note there in bar 126? Do you have that? I just didn't hear it. I'd love to hear it more if I could. Could you just play that bar with the grace note? Nice. It's actually not as fast as you think. That was beautiful. Great. Wonderful.
While we're here, 128. The phrasing, and again, this is not fair because the audio might not be, portraying what you're actually doing. But I think the appoggiatura in each of the beginning of these measures, di da 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 di ya di da 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 di da di. I think the downbeats. I think I hear you playing a little bit more di da 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 di da 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 di da. But I think they should lead into the downbeat. Can you actually play from 128 again? And molto vibrato. Good. I also, more of what Brendan was saying, 106, to backtrack just a slight bit. Do you have the bowing? Dee da 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 da. Si la sol si do re, all on one bow.
No, it's separated.
Good. I recommend taking your time, just because this is it's up here. It's so high. And we'll listen if you want to go da ya da da ya da da, because it's at the end of the fingerboard. I think taking some time. Also, you can depart from the F sharp a little earlier, and this, depending on how much portamenti you want, will make it safer. Da ya da 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 da. Maybe a little bit, something like that. I don't know.
Hey, I have a question. Since we're on that passage, would you play that again? And would you really try and not let the bow drift up back and forth? Just really keep it parallel. Just change it back and forth. It's interesting when you do that, it tends to make one tight, right? Because, oh, now I'm trying to keep the bow straight. That's not what I mean, of course. But it's funny because now I hear the bow changes a little bit less, but of course that's not the sound you want. It's never my intent to suggest that and to make you feel trapped, but just to make one line and not to hear the bow changes quite as much. So good. Yeah.
One more slight request, and this can be more of a question than, we can kind of leave this open-ended, but measure 84. I'm wondering for the phrase if it might work better. A lot of people play these phrases a little bit more parallel. Sorry. Ya da 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 dee, ya da 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 dee, dum da 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 dee da dee da. I feel like the harmony goes really nicely to actually do something different. Yan da 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 dee dee da dum dee yan da 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 dee da dee da. So especially in 86, the second beat, I think ya da dee da dum going to the F major is actually very nice. And in 91, or sorry, measure 90, ya da 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 dee, you have a retonicized 5 chord. So I would relax into the A, and I would supercharge the B in 90, the A in measure 86. Can you play from 84 again? So I haven't played this piece very much. I don't use harmonics for the A, but I don't know. That might just offer a little bit more variety. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it. That's it for me, at least.
Hey, one other quick thing. I know we're running out of time here. The section around bar 81 on the top, at least in my part, where the 16th notes start, 181, 82, 83, 184. I think if you could keep those a little bit steadier and more even, I felt you don't have to play that, but I just think that might just that there's lots of places to stretch in this piece, but that might not be one of them. I felt that it wasn't rhythmically as solid as other things, but great, beautiful performance, great facility and very expressive, beautiful sound. Bravo.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And now Andrew Venter, a student at Interlaken Arts Academy, will play the prelude from Suite No. 1 by Bach.
Bravo.
Bravo, very nice.
Bravo. Yeah.
I'm just going to jump in and say, fantastic job overall. Really beautiful playing, and I mean, excellent intonation and everything. For me, just an overall general approach. I mean, you build very nicely at the end, you know, to the high stuff at the end there. But to me, in the beginning portions, just although your sense of phrasing was good, I just felt like it could be somewhat more a wider palette of color, so that when you get to an arrival point, really get there. I felt like it was a little bit monochromatic for sort of the first half of the piece, but other than that, I think your approach is fantastic.
Thank you.
No, I would just agree.
Go ahead,
with,
Brendan.
I would just agree with what Kingsley said. I mean, the technical stuff is really not a problem. So I would just try and enjoy some of the harmony changes a little bit more, bring out a little bit more of the dissonances. You can do. I mean, Bach is so personal, and every one of us, everyone on the panel and everyone playing today would do it totally differently. So you just have to decide. It's always just going to be up to you eventually. But I think one thing that I like to hear is when people, when I'm listening to like solo Bach or like, on any instrument, somebody that's really telling me a story and really kind of laying out the phrases so I can understand them and kind of digest them as we go along, and I really understand where they're going with it, and it's quite obvious where the punchlines are and where everything like that. So I would just to continue on with what Kingsley was saying, I would just kind of take some more chances and maybe get a little bit more almost improvisatory with how you explore those harmony changes. But it sounds beautiful, man. Really, really nice. Rex?
Yeah, in total agreement, but maybe to get a little bit more specific. And certainly, with a heap of salt, anything specific, just because, again, this is personal. Like, the beginning 4 measures, very arpeggiated and pianistic. I mean, it's essentially expressing harmony over pedal tone, right? But going into measure 7, or specifically right before it, like let's take measure 5. Very similar to the 4 measures that we started this piece with. We have the arpeggiation in the beginning, maybe a little variance on the 4th beat. Then measure 6 is all arpeggiation. Measure 7 is vastly different. It's starting to sound a little bit more linear. I would say the same thing with measure 9, which has 8 in between. 8, measure 9, and then back to some arpeggiation. So maybe can you start from measure 5 again? As soon as the notes break their pattern, especially, we have definite measures where it's chordally written, and probably the name of the game is to make sure you hear all the notes in that chord, which you're doing a fantastic job of. But when it gets more linear, let it go up, let it go down, play it more linearly.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I kind of feel like, I mean, I don't know if you know who Joe Conyers is, but and I think he's okay with me using his name as a verb. But I'm about to Joe Conyers you. I mean, I might be horrendously over the top with this, but at least you know maybe where the edge is for you. I feel like you can go really far with this stuff. Etc. Maybe it's too much for some, but that would be fine for me if you do end up doing that much.
Okay, yeah, I'll give that a shot.
Nice.
Excellent.
Hey, Andrew.
Just out of curiosity, Andrew, sorry, just out of curiosity, what edition are you using to study this piece?
I have the Baron Rider edition.
Cool. Just curious. Go, Lee?
Andrew, bravo. How old are you?
I'm 17.
Great job. Look, just to preface this it's so incredibly personal. I mean, could you find 100 editions between cello and bass? Everybody's got different ideas, so I'll just give you my perspective. For me, I love this thing really rhythmical and even. I don't mind, certain arrivals at cadences, taking a breath here or there, but this is kind of just like a moto perpetuo. What is it? Moto perpetuo? Is that the word?
Yeah.
Moto perpetuo. You know what I'm saying, right? There you go. I love it really even, and I feel like one boom, ba-dee, da-dee, da-dee, da-da, or if you do something within the figures to stretch it rhythmically, it just, and this is personal, it loses its integrity. Also, you can do whatever bowing you want, slur 8, slur 4, slur 2, and then 6 separate. But I was kind of aware of the bowings, for maybe the bowing's sake. Does that make sense? Again, it's your choice. You do whatever you want, but I would prefer it a little bit more even, whether you separate it or slur it. It was interesting. That one where you kind of compress that. That's an interesting idea. But especially the sequence towards the end with, the A kind of pedal tone with where you have the 2 slurred, I would keep that as even as possible. Just try and, that's my opinion, and do it more dynamically. But great facility, beautiful playing. Yeah, bravo.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if you wouldn't mind doing this again. After the fermata, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bars later. You mind just maybe just starting a couple bars before that, and let me hear that again. I was just curious to hear that again. I felt like there was a little glitch when you played it first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're really sort of taking time and then compressing those notes. Is that intentional or?
Yes, it is intentional.
It is intentional. Okay. I guess I just make sure that somehow it to me there's like a wonderful flow going the piece, and then those bars really stuck out to me as a break in the overall flow. I might reconsider that approach, but again, like these guys have said, it's Bach. There's so much room for interpretation. But just for me, listening to it, it really breaks in to the mood there for a moment. But other than that, it's really fantastic playing. Really great.
You know, just back to this passage. I mean, I get your idea and I see what you're doing, but I would say that if you're going to, you know, go faster with there, make sure that it's really, really even and we don't drop some notes. Then that will take away from the effect you're trying to get. Do you want to just try that again? See if you could get them really even.
Yeah.
You know, actually, I think I like your idea. I guess where are you going to? Are you arriving at the bottom, or do you give more in the middle? Because that might clarify your idea a little bit more.
I have in mind kind of like going to the bottom, like cascading and resting a little bit on the bottom note, and then doing the next one.
So why don't you try maybe starting less from the top and then really going to the bottom, because I just don't think you're doing it as effectively as you'd like. Can you do it right from there?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that sounds cool. I like it. Yeah. Great.
Can I wanted to say something. Am I on mute? Oh, okay, I'm not. I wanted to say something about getting into measure 20 a little bit. I think the voicing for these chords is great. This should be quite urgent, I think. Very dissonant, right? And then I noticed this is pretty chill, but this is what is it? A 5-6-5 of 5. We're tonicizing D, right? Then a 5-4-2. Going to like kind of a incomplete cadence. So I feel like few passages could be more exciting, you know. Especially from the bass note perspective. So I really like to lean into those. You want to try that?
Yeah, sure.
I like that better. Just make sure, those are all going to be different places in terms of the position relative to the bridge. Because if you stay sol tasto, just make sure it keeps ringing. Don't need to play that. I do agree with the sentiment that there should be a little bit of an improvisatory aspect to, measure 28 and on. But I actually thought that was, maybe it was a little bit artistically expensive. Starting here. We're still in D, right? And it's basically still all a D pedal tone. Still very much in D. To break it up, not only kind of interrupts the flow, but it really interrupts an aspect of this piece that I hold dear, which is that basically from the fermata on until the last measure, it's all 5. You know, right? And then which leads us to this kind of 505 pedal tone. And it still keeps on growing from there and continues. I'm wondering, it still sounds like it's cascading and flowing. And especially because, if I'm not mistaken, you're adhering with a lot of due study and respect to Magdalena's bowings.
Not as much, really. I don't think so.
Okay, maybe I'm assuming that just because there's so many separates, but maybe to advocate for, I think, what we're all trying to place our finger on, will still be shockingly different just because it is so slurred compared to the rest of the stuff you're doing. But again, this is as my teacher would say, it's my butt on stage, do what I want. You know, and I recommend you develop your interpretation as much as possible. Maybe one other suggestion. There's a line. I feel like there's so much room to really, whether it's a volume or expression knob, to just follow the topography of that line. Can you start from there again? And as it rises and falls, can you theatrically go with it?
Yeah.
Good. And I wouldn't back off from the end, you know. You know, it's only getting more dissonant, you know.
I'm curious, why, Andrew? Why choose the separates and then go to the slurs right there? Like, what's your thought about that?
I don't know if I have any particular thoughts on it. I think that's kind of just what my teacher handed when I ran with it.
Sorry, I missed that.
I think it was kind of a teacher recommendation, and I ran with it. I know that's not the best answer.
No, I mean, it's. I was just struck this time, and like you're playing it separate, and then the articulation changed so radically when you slurred from the top from that, and I wasn't quite sure about the musical motivation behind that choice.
I think part of it comes from, like, going from the slur, the separate, like, lead up to it, and then the slur brings out a really stark contrast in articulation along with the dissonance, and so I think it brings it out even more.
Okay.
Mrs. Bach didn't write that, but I do it too. I don't know. The slurs kind of feel good.
I like the slurs very much. I like much of this slurred. Like, but again, it's very personal.
Oh.
Bravo.
Bravo.
Thank you so much, Ed.
Sir is coming.
Thank you so much to everyone for the wonderful performances and excellent coaching on this most international masterclass. Special thanks, especially to those of y'all who are joining late at night and early in the morning where you are. We are a little over time. If anyone has burning questions, please put them in the chat. In the meantime, I'll note that we are currently accepting applications for performers for oboe, piccolo, and trombone for upcoming master classes. Oboe applications are due at midnight tonight. Well, I know some of y'all probably have things to do after this, so I will just say thanks again to everyone, and I hope you'll join us for the next master classes, which are bi-weekly on Sunday afternoons, and that you have a great rest of your Sunday and a wonderful Thanksgiving for those of you in the U.S., and that you stay well.
Thank you to you, Claire, for your putting this all together and your support of our Musicians Fund. We really do appreciate that.
Absolutely. It is an honor.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
And bravo to everybody that played. Really fantastic. Very high level playing.
Very, very, very impressive.
Bravo.
Good
All
night.
right.
Thank you. Good night.